surrounding the village green. The village green town square is kind of based on the traditional town planning principles and just little small towns that many of us have probably, been to or maybe grew up in. And there's just such a nice charm to these spaces that are really based on even the age of antiquity, the human scale, the ratio phi. And so rather than reinventing the wheel, I designed the town square and the village green to be in keeping with those dimensions and the proportions. So what we have here is our first little roundabout. We have kind of three main roundabouts in the community, and this is the main one where we will have a nice little entrance, little fountain, some landscaping. Still trying to come up with some ideas. I like things to just sort of emerge sort of organically, if you will, and kind of waiting for that inspiration. But we have some good ideas. This area here to my left, this is where we eventually will have a head house or community center. You see on the map right here, it's the triangular lots. So we are right next to the triangular lots here. And again, that's where we'll have the kind of the head house and little recreation pool area overlooking the village green there. So one of our residents, Dave, or as people call him, Tree Dave, he has taken it upon himself to plant trees all throughout the community. He's kind of the Carmelita Gardens Johnny Appleseed, if you will. He goes and he prunes and he waters and plants. And so one of the things he did is around our town square, he's planted a number of different species of trees, but they're flowering trees and trees to provide shade. And so on the town square, then eventually will be lined all the way around with shady trees and a nice place for picnics, art in the park, farmers market, cinema on the green, those types of things are soon to come. We already see some activities around the community, and we're starting to kind of move things more and more towards a central location. Right here by the Cottage Row. So one of the other planning principles, if you will, is that around the town square, typically you see a higher density of lots and properties. And so the smaller garden lots are all around the town square. And then as it radiates out away from the town square, you start to see the larger village lots and estate lots in both directions. So that was an intentional plan there to really give the town square a lot of, livelihood and conviviality is typical of those small town squares. And so the first area, the first neighborhood is the Cottage Lane area here that you can see. There's several cottages. We have 11 of them, in fact. And each one is individually owned and has its own little personality, different color schemes, or perhaps a back deck or a wraparound porch, just different things that people have done to customize their cottage. And each has given it its own name. And so we have everything from this one here, Aurora Tropical. The owners from Alaska where the Aurora Borealis is, but now it's little cottages here in the tropics. So Aurora Tropical. This is right here, where the microgrid is. All of the properties in Carmelita Gardens are individually powered. They have rainwater harvesting and filtration, and then they're eco-friendly septic tanks. But here on the Cottage Row, we did a little bit different. It's a microgrid. So the solar array is positioned on the backside of this building here. There's a big water tank underneath that distributes water and then the electricity as well to all of the cottages. And then we have the eco-friendly septic tanks on each end. There's kind of a natural crown to the land here. So half of the cottages go in one direction, the other half go in the other. So like I said, it's a little bit different than the rest of the homes, like the one on the right here. Folks, it's an independent cottage. It has its own solar system. It has its own rainwater collection and filtration system. They've got their gardens in the back there, and they have their eco-friendly septic tank. So again, all of the other houses in the community are independent, but as our motto is, we're together as a community. So we're independent together. And we have different models to choose from. So you see the cottages. How we build the cottages now, though, is the same way that we build all of the houses, the bungalows, the villas, the custom manor homes. They're all built using a system that is an insulated concrete. We still use the beautiful hardwoods for rafters and railings and cabinets and doors, but we found that this system that I'll show you as we tour around, where you have the insulated concrete, is great. You have the benefit of insulation, and you also have the benefit of concrete, which has longevity. It's more resilient, less maintenance, lower insurance costs. So you'll see that it's a really great system for living off grid, where you want to be very conservative with your energy use. I do got some examples there in the distance. You see the home. That one is kind of served as our villa model. We've had a number of people that have chosen that model and then made some variations on it, some modifications to customize it for their lifestyle and their budget, which is what we do with every home. We work with every owner to come up with a home that suits them, again, suits their lifestyle and their budget. Of those different plans, you'll see, Ronnie, if you'll hold this again. Thank you. We have the cottage plan, as I mentioned, and then we have the bungalow plan here. And this is 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Typically, it comes with a loft above the bedroom or the bathroom area there. And then we have the villa model. It's the one I just pointed out. That was the inspiration, the Casa Carmelita. And so you see, this is a 2 bedroom, 2 bath, and can be either built raised up, or it could be, well, any of the homes can be built raised or at grade level. Some people like it raised up for the breezes and just the additional space on the ground floor. But there is an area that I'll point out where the homes need to be raised, because we do get floods every once in a while. It's not all the time, but you want to be prepared. And the times that we have had an event like that, the houses have done great. They're all engineered and built to withstand that. And the water comes and goes usually within 48 to maybe 2 to 3 days typically, and people are getting back into their homes again. But we have the areas in the property that are, high and dry, but areas down by the river where it's beautiful. And, for years you may just be fine, but every once in a while, just, heads up, if you build in that area, you want to build up like this and be prepared. This is what we call a manor house, which is really just a very custom house. And we have done this with a number of people. Just kind of a napkin sketch, if you will, and then we turn it into the home of their dreams. So it's really whatever you want. A simple cottage, as some of our residents call it, less home and or less house and more home. I don't want as much to maintain, but then also if you want a luxury villa on the river like we have here, you can see this is a 2 bedroom, 2 bath, but also I guess it should be a 3 bedroom, because it actually has a kind of a semi-detached guest house in the back, and it has a pool in the backyard, a gourmet kitchen. It's got a beautiful bar has like salvaged mahogany wood that came from the Belize River, 100-something years old, and it's just absolutely beautiful luxury living on the Belize River, but completely off grid. So it really goes to prove that you don't have to give up any creature comforts to live off grid here in Belize, or in Carmelita Gardens in particular. So as we kind of move along here, I'll show you where we are. See the map back up here. Yeah. So, Ron, if you hold that again, you can show. Okay, so as I mentioned, when we started off at the entrance, and then it came down the Cottage Lane over here by Riverside Park, and so we are right about here now. This is Al's house here to the right. I'll show you that as we pass by, and then we'll continue down around the peninsula, and then past the Scout Park, and then on, and we'll kind of reorient again when we get to that spot. So here on the right is another custom home that the owner came up with a plan. We worked with them to adapt it for this climate and being off grid. And then the result was absolutely beautiful home. Again, this is a river lot here. So yeah, Al's very happy down here. He's one of our retirees. We have a number of retirees in the community, but we also have younger folks moving in with families, and it's an area we'd really like to see more families. As we're building basically, a small little hamlet, so we want to have as much variety in the folks as any good little town would be. So over here we've got Matt and Rhonda. They are retired also just recently. Matt's a retired professor and Rhonda music therapist. But like many of our residents, they don't sit still. They've been very busy. Rhonda is now been teaching music to the village primary school children, and the communities come together to sponsor a bunch of recorders, basic woodwind instrument, so that she can start the recorder band, the Santa Familia Student Recorder Band. So there's a lot of things like that you can get involved in and around Carmelita. Here's Kristen's house. A beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a nice loft. So we'll come back here for the Q&A and to get a chance to see it also from the inside. Over here in front of us, this is Rain Tree Park. There's a little park that's set aside with this beautiful rain tree. Right now, it's dropping its leaves, but they'll come back, and then this pink flowers come on, and it's just it's a beautiful tree, and it's a nice park. The legend of the rain tree, like in general, there was a movie in the 50s with Elizabeth Taylor and Montgomery Clift called Rain Tree County. And the legend was that if you find the rain tree, you found the secret of happiness in life. And one of my favorite stories is about the big limb there to the right, where we hung a swing for a friend of mine who came down to propose to his girlfriend. And on the bottom of the mahogany seat, we had engraved, "Will you marry me?" And so he took her out for a swing and then got on his knee and proposed, and she said yes. So there is some truth to the legend, apparently. They found the secret of happiness right here under the rain tree in Carmelita. So now we're down on the peninsula area here. So we've got a big green space in the center of the peninsula with houses that kind of, ring around in a radial pattern. This home up here with the blue roof, as we pass by, you'll see it also, that the owners also have 3 lots next door that they've planted, and they really have a green thumb. They've done a great job with the landscaping. But now that children and family and other things are calling them back to upstate New York, where they're from. So they have now listed the property for sale. The home is available for $350,000, and then each one of the adjacent lots for $65,000. But of course, they've said if anybody wants the whole estate, they would be willing to negotiate a special deal. So if anybody is interested in actually doing a tour, we can schedule tours of the home, and just make a comment in the chat box, and then Elisa and Kristen can jot down those who are interested, and we can schedule a specific tour of the home. So this lot right here, Ron, if you want to hold on just a second, this is lot 180 here. right next to the home that is for sale. And it has a nice riverfront, and it is also available as a vacant lot. So if you decided that you wanted to build the home of your dreams or build one of our models, you can do that here on lot 180. So that is also available for 59,000. And then right ahead here, we have two houses that sit next to each other, which are a good example of what our design team can do. Luis, our lead designer, architect, she has been able to do a lot of great things with the model plans, doing variations. This was actually one that I did early on, but the Tortuga here, the home right in front of us, the wooden house, was the second house that we built in Carmelita Gardens. Then an owner who actually a friend of my family, he came down to retire, and he said that he liked the floor plan. He stayed there as a rental unit, but he wanted to do something different. So he and I got together and we came up with his Villa Scoligato, as he calls it. So he liked the sort of Tuscan Belizean fusion. But that home there came from the same floor plan as its next door neighbor. So just kind of gives you an idea of what we can do creatively to take some of the model plans or your own custom home and develop it for your, again, your lifestyle, your budget. Here we have a home that obviously is very custom. This is a 12-sided house or a dodecagon. The owner wanted a round house, or circular, but at the time we were using concrete block. This is before we started using the insulated panels, and I was able to convince them that it'll be a lot easier to build if we could do it, using a segmented home instead of perfectly circular. And they agreed, and really it turned out beautifully. I actually lived in the house for a while before they retired and came down. They asked if I would stay there, and I absolutely loved it. It's a great house. The cupola up top creates a lot of nice airflow, brings in natural light. We got a big veranda and a screen porch on the back overlooking the river. It's really a great house, but obviously very unique. And the builders, I think, were cussing me some of the time because, like, can you design something with a right angle next time? But it turned out great. They were able to figure it out, and the roof actually is one of the most beautiful things of it. In the interior, every single rafter is one piece exotic hardwood rafter that goes from the outside wall all the way up to the cupola. So just looking up at that ceiling is, like I said, it's like a work of art, wood sculpture, just beautiful. So here, not far from Ted and Sylvia's house there, the dodecagon, we have a couple of lots that are available here on the map. Again, Ronnie, if you'll hold that. We have lots 170 and 171. Those are also in the same category as lot 180. They're river garden lots and are on offer for 59,000 for these lots. And the lots up here, you'll be able to see as Ronnie, we get up just a little bit farther, will be good. So this cluster of trees is kind of on both, spread across both lots, 170 and 171. And then those lots go down to the river, way, beyond the point over there. Let me see if I can kind of point to it. Can see, where's my finger? Yes, the riverside over there. And so along with any of the houses that we're showing you, any of the properties are also available for a bespoke tour. You just let the folks know on the chat. Elisa and Kristen can jot down and we can schedule a time to give you a special tour of lots and or houses if you'd like. So now we're going to go around. We're going to pass by a home that's under construction using our new system. The system has just been fantastic, and we keep innovating, coming up with ways to make it better and faster, and keep the costs down, because like anywhere else, inflation is a real thing, and I think everybody saw what happened, COVID, post-COVID, with a lot of construction material costs, things like that. It's kind of caught up with us here as well. So we're doing a number of different things to keep the costs under control, but to maintain the quality, but actually increase the speed at which we can do things. So you'll see as you take a little closer look here, maybe Ronnie, we got to pull up just a little bit more, and I'll kind of look out the side window here. So you can see the guys on the scaffolding there. They're throwing concrete on the wall right now. They're putting on the rough coat, and the very front wall, you can see the foam insulation exposed there, and it has a welded wire mesh on it, and that allows the concrete to hold on. And they reinforce it with rebar throughout, and they'll do two of the rough coats, and then they'll come in with a fine finish coat. So it's like a stucco, but unlike stucco, we don't have cracking. That's kind of the nature of stucco. But here, with the system and the rebar reinforcements that we do around, it prevents that from happening. So this is, again, a new home that's under construction for a nice couple from Florida. And they've moved down and are renting one of the units on site so that they can be here while their home is being built. And then when it's ready, they're ready to move right over. So the way that it works with construction is we work with you on the design work. You can choose one of our models and just build it as is. That is the least expensive, fastest way to go about things. But also you can modify it. Again, like I mentioned, customize it to your lifestyle and your budget. Once we have the design approved by you, then we go to design development. So when I say the design, the floor plan and elevations primarily. So once that's done, then we can do design development, which gets into more of the electrical layout and cabinets, some of the selections. You're going to have wood floors, tile floors, things like that that affect the construction drawing. So the draftsman needs to know, a lot of these elements before moving forward with the drafting and the engineering. So from there, we do a complete set of construction documents, which then allows us to do a bill of quantities. So that tells us how much the house is going to cost to build. Then we present that to you. We have a draw schedule that lays out when the payments will be due. A selection list that shows the features and selections, tile, shower heads, toilets, electrical fixtures, all of the things that need to be selected. And then once we have the contract signed, the draw schedules in place, you make your first draw. We use those funds to buy the critical materials, the wood, the steel, the concrete, the panels, the things that go into building your house. And so that's a way that I've had people ask me, so Phil, when I give you the money, what are you going to do? Are you going to make sure that, is it in cryptocurrency, precious metals, or how, are you going to protect my assets? Well, I'm buying raw materials with it. The raw materials that go into your house, because that's really what you want. So as soon as we have those funds, we start to purchase these materials. At the end of the tour, we're going to go by the depot, which is, like I said, in progress, but is a really important part of the overall building process, the community. And that allows us to store materials on site, allows us to prefabricate certain things, and just, again, speed up the time frame and our capacity for building without compromising any of the quality. Again, this can be talked about in more detail if you want to schedule a tour, schedule a conversation with myself and Luis, or the architect, or anyone else on the team. Kind of an aside here, Ronnie is stopped and pulled over so that you can see our sport court here. We've got a pickleball, there's basketball, and just a general, like I said, sport court. There we have a horseshoe pit over here. And we're going to be adding, more activities as we have more of a critical mass. We have more and more people moving down. We've got more construction in the pipeline than we've ever had before. 6 homes now that we've had our golden shovel, which is how we do the groundbreaking. And then we have almost 20 houses that are in design, engineering, drafting, permitting. So we have more to come. So here's the another home that is going to be listed with us for sale. One of our the previous property managers and his wife, they unfortunately had some family situations that called them back. And so now they're selling this home. Again, if you're interested in touring the home, we will be getting this house listed and on the market soon. And we can provide you the floor plans, photos, videos. Once we list a house, we do a nice video. I say we, Elisa does a nice video and tours the home, so you get a really good feel of the features, the size, of the home. So we'll do the same thing with this home once we have it listed, and then can provide that information to any interested parties, and then, like I said, do a nice bespoke tour for you. Okay. Yep. I'll go move forward here. So as Ronnie's moving forward, you can see over here that we have this is the gardens, our organic gardens. We've got bananas, plantains, and several different vegetables and roots that are being grown and then available every Monday morning at our community market, which is located right where I showed you where the microgrid is and the cottages. But we're actually kind of behind that right now. That's the building right there. And so the gardens are located right behind that building. So as we have more people, we'll continue to plant more the vegetables and the fruits. We've got fruit bearing trees. We've got mangoes and plums and molly apples. There's just a whole variety of different fruits and vegetables that would be growing. We're now fortunate to have one of our owners and residents. He and his wife ran an organic apple orchard for years, and now also, I say retiring, but they are staying very busy. He's a permaculturist, and he's running all of our agricultural initiatives, including the garden there that I was just. So over here on the right side are a couple of the river estate lots that are available. You can see here on the map the numbers. The lots that are numbered are the ones that are still available, and so those are available. There's also the 161, which is next to the house that I was mentioning that we're soon to be listing. And so these are available. Those lots are 79,000. And to kind of give you some idea of the scale, it's about the size of a football field. These lots are 75 to 90 feet wide and about 300 feet deep. So just to kind of give you an idea that it's a nice size lot. So plenty of room to, plant your own orchard, little fruit farm and build a nice house. If you wanted to even have a little guest house or something like that, there's plenty of room to do that, and then have a nice view of the river. Yep. So what we have here to the right is kind of the beginning of our little boutique riverfront hotel, if you will. This is a tiny house that is independently owned. Andre, the owner, has built this to be a rental as part of the little boutique hotel, but also as his plan B escape plan if need be. So it's based on a kind of tiny house design, but with a wraparound porch and raised up. It's actually encompasses quite a bit of square footage. As much outdoor as indoor space, and that's what we find is so nice about this climate is that the outdoor space is as valuable as the indoor space. So it's a lot of outdoor living that can be done here. So we recommend porches and the different orientations to really make the most of your home and your life in Belize. So what will eventually be here then is more like a little attached units along here, and then also here in the center, over the looking over the river, we'll have a little boutique. Well, the hotel will have a little restaurant in it as well, because that's a really nice setting on the river, and interesting thing in out here in San Ignacio. It's like we're always looking for a nice dining place, but it's hard to find a nice dining place on the river with live music too. So that's something that we miss, is being able to go to dinner and there's a guitar player, pianist, or something like that. So that is something that we will be adding here to the community in fairly short order. We're getting a critical mass now, enough to support different businesses and community amenities. Yeah. So we're going to continue to move forward here and look at some of the other houses. We're going to a home here in just a minute that is also under construction, but a step farther along than the house that we just showed that had the exposed panel there, Manny and Roos. We're going to go to Kelly's, and her house is just a little bit farther along. A fairly recently finished home that used the same system. Here's Mark's house. So that really turned out nice. That was actually based on the villa model with just a few modifications to it, but essentially the same house with a little different facade. Mark also built a really nice deck over the river there in his backyard. So yeah, again, just an idea of the different things that you can do during the design stage to give your home a little different look. So up here on the right is a home that was one of our early builds. Locals refer to it as the castle, and the owner is coming down to finish it. It was owned by a gentleman who sadly he passed away, and his sister inherited it, and so he finally sold it, and now this gentleman is going to come down. He was here visiting and kind of assessing what needs to be done with it, and so he's looking at adding a porte-cochere on the front, kind of like a nice drive-through carport, if you will, that has like a nice balcony on top, and then also he's looking at doing like a 3-story kind of balcony up there, which will really, I think, help with that front facade, which is kind of plain right now. But that anyway, that kind of gives you an idea of the different variety of homes and just where certain properties are. We have homes that are now, gosh, I think the first home we built was in 2000, was completed in 2011. The development, we're celebrating our 13th anniversary now. So we got our environmental permit, which was the kind of the final step in finalizing the development. And that was September 8th in 2010. And so then we started the first cottage in 2011. So now we've experiencing a building boom like never before, though. As I mentioned, all of the homes that are under construction and also in design, drafting, engineering, permitting. So this is Kelly's house. This is a beautiful 3-story home, and you can see the next step now. They're beyond the walls. They've put primer on the walls. They have gotten a lot of the roof rafters are in place. They're putting down the sheetrock and the felt, which will then be followed by the purlins and the foam insulation, and then the roof decking. So they're moving right along, and her home is scheduled to be completed in August now. So there's a lot of work to do. It's a big custom house, but like I said, they're moving right along here. And so it's just good to see the progress there. And so we also have, let's see, oh yeah, we actually passed it, but along this area right here, this is a beautiful river front area with trees on it. So that's one of the things that some people are looking for. But if you don't have, there's not trees on a lot, it's not that big a deal because stuff grows so fast here. You plant some trees early on, and before you know it, you've got your own little jungle. But these the lots, there's lot 147, which is available. It's right here. Okay, on you can see. Yep. So it's located right here, and it is another one of the river estate lots available for 79,000. And you can see on the map, we have other ones there also. Next to the castle, there's one. And then on both sides of Mark's house, there are lots available there. So if you're looking for a large river estate lot, this is a good area right here. So next door to us, we have an old farm that they raise corn and beans. They rotate the crop. In Belize, you can get 3 crops a year, rotating corn, bean, corn, bean. And so sometimes you get 2 corn and 1 bean, or 2 bean and 1 corn, but it's a year-round growing season. And the thing that some of the folks over here like about the neighbors is that they find that, corn doesn't complain. As I said, they do attract the parrots sometimes, and so you'll have a flock of green parrots flying overhead during the around the harvest corn season. But you can see they're just harvesting, and so they'll be replanting this field now. And then we've had a community volunteer group that came out and planted all of this bougainvillea here, so that we have nice, colorful border with our neighbors here with the flowering bougainvillea. So the home over here is also a recently finished home using the same construction system. Bill and Ellen's house here. Also, they're from Jacksonville, Florida, but they're out traveling. They've got an RV and they're traveling in the U.S., going and visiting family and whatnot before they come and settle here. So yeah, and people from all around the country, all around the world. But most of the people that come to Carmelita Gardens come from North America, the U.S. or Canada. But we have a number of them that actually are from somewhere else first, that they went to the U.S. or Canada for education or careers, decades ago, settled there, but now are ready to move on. And so we have people from, again, all over the world, from Asia, Europe, the Caribbean, again, North America, also Central America. And yeah, so it's great to have all the different characters in the community. So here's the first stage that you see of a home that we recently broke ground on, and that is digging the cistern. So the water tank, we have that integrated into the architecture. So rather than having, like you see, they are next to the construction shed, these plastic Rotoplas tanks. We avoid having those as water storage, just for the architectural purity of things. We integrate that water storage into the architecture of the home, into the build. Typically, it's under a porch, and then you can access the manhole easily there. And we store anywhere between about 7,000 to 11,000 gallons is typically the amount of water that we store, which is captured rainwater. And then it is pressurized system, and then filtered. Then it's a filtered water system. So again, you wouldn't notice any different from if you are used to municipal or good municipal services. Not all municipal services are good, but if you're accustomed to that, you'll find that it's the same. You're not giving up any of those creature comforts, as we say.
Hey, Phil.
Hey, Kristen.
It's Kristen.
Yes.
If you, hey, yeah, if I don't know if you can do a quick, turn around and point to lot 96, but we had a special request to take a look at 96. We just drove by it, so it might not be doable.
Okay.
But I thought it out.
Now, I think Ronnie knows how to back up. You know how to reverse?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'm taking some. Thank you. I'm taking questions here and answering them as we go. One of them that I couldn't fully answer because I can't remember the answer, maybe next time we go by one of the homes under construction, is how often do we need to service or clean out septic? So if you want to address that one at some point along the way, that'd be helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's a good question. The thing that I've noticed, because of the tropics, the climate, stuff biodegrades really fast. And only one or two people that I know of have had to have their septics cleaned out in the entire time of, Carmelita Gardens. And sometimes it's just how, people live with their septic. Sometimes, that could be a problem. If you know how the septic works and you treat it well, I don't know, it could be 20 years or something. We haven't reached that point with really any of the, like I said, I think a couple of people had it done, but for the most part, we haven't had to have septics cleaned out. With the cistern, we do recommend, like annual kind of like spring cleaning. And there we have a crew, the gentleman I mentioned, the permaculturist, Harry, he has a business and a crew where they can come and clean it out. And we recommend doing that usually like the end of May, because that's the end of the dry season. And so chances are, the water level in the cistern is going to be at the lowest. And so they'll pump it out, sanitize, clean it all out. And then there's a company that provides a water service, 3,000-gallon truck, come and fill up the cistern just in time for the June rains to begin again. So yeah, that's a kind of note on the spring cleaning. Okay, so lot 96, we are right here now. So let me get out and I'll show you that lot. And I bet I know who's asking, Kristen.
I think you'd have that right.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yes.
Terry.
So here we go. It's a beautiful day. In a little bit, you're going to have a beautiful sunset. But right now, we got lot 96 right here. Nice quarter-acre lot, 100 feet by 100 feet, with 100-foot deep green space right there in the backyard. So it's one of the things that when doing the overall plan that I looked at is there are studies that show that 60 to 80%, I guess it's depending if you're including children or not, but 60 to 80% of the people that live on golf courses don't play golf. They just like that nice green space in their backyard. So I thought, well, hey, let's incorporate that idea, but instead of golf courses, let's do gardens and orchards and, different nice, well-maintained green spaces. So we have that throughout the community. The Country of Belize, their land utilization authority that approves new communities, new subdivisions, requires 10% green space. But when I laid it out, I was looking at the yield, how much, fruit and vegetables and nuts and things could we produce. So we put in about 19, almost 20% green space within the community, and it runs all throughout. So if there's not green space, like right in the backyard, it's probably because it's one of the estate lots that has kind of, green space already on the lot. So everywhere else, though, there's green space and easements that run throughout the community. I'll show you, Ron, you're going to hold that real quick. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So if you see, let me get here we go. So here's again, the town square. But all of these green spaces and easements lead to the town square. So right here on either side of this property and that building are 20-foot wide easements. So you go through the garden area, orchard, there's another easement there. You go through the orchard, there's an easement there and there to the river. So the whole idea is, as kids, a lot of us, might, going to our friend's house, you cut through the neighbor's yard or something like that, and just sort of a whimsical way, I thought, well, let's incorporate that into the community, but actually have them as, real easements where you can take a shortcut from your house to the town square. And all of the easements are 20 feet wide, so plenty of room to do nice landscaping on each side. So we could do, berry bushes or, edible, fruits, plants, things like that. And just so you're kind of walking through the Garden of Eden on your way to the town square and back. So anyway, that's just one of the little town planning things that has been included in the Carmelita Gardens master plan. So here's one of our garden lots here. And this is over there next to the cornfield. We just broke ground on this. This is going to be a cottage. And what the owner's doing is he has his personal lot, but he also invested in some other lots that his idea here is he's going to put the shell of a cottage. So finish the cistern, the foundation, all of the walls, the roof, have it all ready to go so that somebody that is on a shorter time frame. They're like, okay, I'm ready to move. I want to get into something quickly. They don't have to wait for their home to be built. They can come down. They can pick out the color of the house. They can pick out the tile. They can pick out the light fixtures, the shower head plumbing fixtures, the granite countertop. Make all of those selections, go home, pack up their bags, and by the time they get back, their house will be ready. That's the idea here. And Greg was here about a week and a half ago, and we had a golden shovel for him, and we're going to get going on his house next. Okay, so we're going to continue to go through here by the Maya Mound, and this is a nice little area, and Kristen has a couple of lots over here also. She's not only built her big, beautiful house in Carmelita, she's doubled down. She's invested as well, and she's held some lots for a while, and now some of her lots are available, and they're also just like Greg's lot. They're these the green garden lots. But here, Ronnie, you hold that again. I want to show the little difference here. These lots, rather than so the typical green garden lot, runs this way to the kind of perpendicular to the road. The ones here on this row right here, they run parallel. And so we have 44 and 45 available. And then these lots here, Kristen's at our lots, was that 19 and 20 right there. So again, if you want to live right by the Maya Mounds, here's an opportunity. Not many folks can say I have Maya Mounds in my front yard. Can do that here. That's what is kind of forming this canopy road here is right by the mound. Our biggest mound is over here to our left. And then we have a couple of other mounds. When I was planning Carmelita Gardens, I wanted to make sure that we preserved the mound area. So I contacted the director of archaeology, Dr. Jaime Awe, and he came out and we met and talked about what could be done. And he said, whenever you're ready, let us know. We can put together a team, professors, students, whatever, come out and start to do a dig as kind of a community activity. So now our retired professor, Matt, who I mentioned earlier, from Louisiana, his wife, Rhonda, is the music therapist. So Matt has been in touch with the Department of Archaeology. We've had archaeologists come out and visit. And so we are moving towards that, that initiative. But I guess it should have been no surprise when we asked the archaeologists, okay, what's the first step? Their answer was, I guess that should have been expected, raise money. It's like, okay, yes, because Belize does not. Okay, hold on? We got some technical difficulties here. Am I still on?
That's my fault. That's my fault. I know what happened.
Okay, I don't see. Okay, well,
Sorry
as
about
long
it.
as
It turned on and I'm not sure how to turn it off.
is the video still?
Let's see. No, it's can only be closed by the host or the person that opened it. So it doesn't look like I'm the
There you go.
one who opened it. Okay.
Somebody
Sorry.
fixed it. Okay, good. All right, no problem. Okay, so yeah, so the Department of Archaeology, like many of the different agencies and departments in Belize, they're not flush with cash. They don't have a bunch of money to do grants and things like that. So if we're going to do something here, it needs to be a privately funded initiative, and they would be more than happy to help out with advice and some personnel, but they don't have a big capital fund to go from. But we can start little by little, like anything, like even the beginning of Carmelita Gardens. It was basically, don't let what you can't do stand in the way of what you can do. And so we'll do what we can, and we'll just continue to grow from there. And It's again working really well in Carmelita. As you can see, the new houses, the existing houses. Here's an example of a new house that is nearing completion. This house has set a new record in Carmelita. It is now 10 weeks ahead of schedule. The home started in the middle of November and is only about 4 weeks from being completed now. And it just blows away any time frame that we've ever had before. But it's using our new system with an experienced crew. They've worked together for over a decade, and it just went to prove to all of us really what can be done. So this is just a great example of nearly the completed uh, product, if you will, of the home with the same kind of construction technique that I showed you earlier. So our homes now are, since we started a new construction company with a real kind of A team of really great professionals at every level. We have all of the houses on time and on budget, and even so, ahead of schedule, which is great. It just again goes to show what we can do. We're going to pass by another home that is now kind of quickly become many people's favorite home. We have people that are coming down to look at homes in Carmelita Gardens. And not only the people that are buying in Carmelita Gardens and building in Carmelita Gardens, but people that are just trying to get a really good reference point for beautiful architecture and quality construction. Carmelita Gardens is a reputation now of being the place to come and check that out. And so we do have more and more people that we just see cars just kind of driving by and it's stopping and they're like, oh, it's such a beautiful place. We just wanted to come and see. And I think Christie's house is just a great example. And it's here right by the entrance. So it's like, moths to a light. It's just such a beautiful house. People just love looking at it and seeing it. And inside, it's even equally as beautiful because I think it's beautiful on the outside, but inside with that nice cupola up there, the airflow, the natural light, her beautiful hardwood floors, tastefully done decor. I mean, it's just a great example of what can be done. And again, this is a home that has been constructed using our new building system and totally off grid again. So Ronnie's going to take us here in a loop. We're just going to kind of pass by the depot. It's called the River Bend Depot is the name. And the idea is that we have a place, as I mentioned earlier, to store materials that we can purchase ahead of time so that we don't have to wait on the materials. The materials are here waiting on us. So when we get to a stage, we got the walls up and it's time to put the roof on. The rafters are all prepped. They're all ready to go. They just need to be delivered to the job site and then installed. And same thing with the light gauge steel columns and beams that we're using now. The rebar cages that we use for cast in place concrete columns and beams. The railings, posts and beams. There's just a lot of things that we're able to do here in the depot. Right now, I've just landed a bunch of containers in there. We're doing the entrance arch here, and we are working on the main gate from the main road, and then we'll get our wood shop. We've already have the wood shop area ready. We just need to move the equipment from the containers into the wood shop. Then I will be bringing in a crane, and we'll move the containers around. So we have a very functional, very organized building supply depot and light manufacturing facility right here, close to where the construction is all happening. So next door is Dan Silva's property here. Dan is one of the first people I met in Belize, and boy, was I fortunate to meet Dan. Dan is a former minister of agriculture and just an all-around good guy. We just really hit it off. The common thread was actually Michigan. I was born and raised in Michigan, and That's where Dan went to college, and was like, why would somebody from beautiful Belize go to blustery, cold Michigan? And he's like, when you see it on TV, the snow looks so nice, and and you want to go play in the snow. Not realizing that where he went to college is like one of the coldest places in the U.S., let alone in Michigan. But anyway, we hit it off, and that's when he saw what I was doing up in northern Belize on another project, invited me to come out here on the family farm, and said, "Hey, Phil, can you do something out here in Carmelita?" And I said, "Sure." So told him I wanted to do it all off grid. And he said, "Do whatever you want. The only thing that I ask is this, to make sure that Santa Familia wins." And what he meant was, hire from Santa Familia, and, patronize businesses and all that. And wow, has it happened big time. Our residents are just, so wonderful. They go and they shop, and they commune with Santa Familia. They go to churches there. They go to family parties. They go to whatever, funerals, births. It's become part of Santa Familia. They become part of us. It's just a wonderful thing to see. Um, and this is a good segue to see, JD and Marianne's home here. This is Casa Carmelita, the inspiration for the villa model and so many modifications. But their story is great. They met as Peace Corps volunteers in the 70s in Belize, got married and vowed that one day when it came time to retire, they were going to retire in Belize. And sure enough, they have. They've come down, and again, they're just wonderful folks, and opening their home, and just greeting people with open arms, and helping to integrate into Santa Familia, where we are properly a part of Santa Familia. We don't want to be apart from, we want to be a part of, and it's working. So Ronnie's from far away, though. He's from Bullet Tree Village, so not so far. Not so far. No, I'm kidding. No, it's about a 10-15 minute motorcycle ride. Right now, 15 minutes. Yeah, yeah. So here we have a home that was one of the first homes that was built in Carmelita Gardens, and the lady that we built it for, she wanted to have it handicap accessible, and after a number of years, she did pass away, and her children inherited it. It's been one of our top rentals, I think probably the top rental, but the children never put any money. It was cash flowing. And so when it came time to give it a little TLC, said, it's time, like, no, I think we want to sell it instead. So we have some interim investors that have come in, and they're now going to give it that tender, loving care. There's Graham. Say hi, Graham. Give it a little TLC, and then sell it. So this is something that Kristen and Elisa will be keeping you updated on the list. And again, you want to do a tour, we can schedule a tour of it, but we'll get it cleaned up and fixed up first, and then give you a nice tour, and Elisa will do a nice video of it. Okay, so follow Graham. So Graham is a longtime follower of Carmelita, and he's also recently retired as a builder in California. He was working on crews that were doing stuff in Beverly Hills, and the last house he had, that the last house he was working on blew me away when we were talking about it. He says, "Yeah, it's a $35 million spec house." I was like, "What? $35 million spec house? That's a heck of a speculation there." But apparently that's what they do in Beverly Hills. So that makes our houses like really, like, which pocket do you want to pay for that out of? Your left pocket or your right pocket? It's only, $350,000. But not all of the houses. They range. You'll see. Kristen can give you information. Anywhere from just over 100,000 for a small cottage, up to, I'd say, 300,000 to 400,000. Again, depends on what what the plan is, if it's, complicated, roof lines, things like that will add costs, but, and also just how you finish it off. It's like, people ask, well, how much is the house per square foot? I'm like, well, how much does a bag of groceries cost? It just really depends on what you put in it. Are you, buying potatoes and, milk, or are you buying caviar and champagne? So whatever you put in the bag. And same thing with, a home. What kind of hardware, are you putting in? Countertops, finishes, things like that, determine the cost. So here we are at, Kristen's lovely home. And there, Kristen, the forerunner that we will have waiting at the airport for you when you get down next week. So let me turn this around. Okay, and let's see. Thank you, Ronnie. He's our chauffeur today, but you are free to go, my friend. Okay. All right, I'm gonna move upstairs, and then we'll turn. Yeah, and grab these. Oh yes, can you hand me my water, please? Just that. That's fine. Right there. There we go. Yep, that's it. Great. Thank you. Okay. So actually, I should turn it around. You don't need to see me. See something that's actually beautiful. Um, yeah. So this is Kristen's riverfront here. So we have really a lot of wildlife that comes here. We have birds, toucans. One time up in this tree, there were 10 toucans on the branches and limbs, flying in and flying out there. And we have what's called a bush rabbit, which is kind of like a rabbit in the rodent family, but a little forest rabbit, if you will, and kind of looks like a big gerbil or something. And we usually leave like a little fruit scraps and things out and watch the bush rabbit come and eat. So I'm gonna go. Oh, excuse me, just 1 minute. Hey, Ronnie, I think Graham is coming to get the bicycle.
That would be my guess. Hey, Phil, as
Yeah,
you're
okay.
getting getting set up, I just wanted to remind folks that we've been pretty active in the chat function during the site tour. So if
Oh,
you can
okay.
go to your chat function, folks, and open that up, you'll see some Q&A that we've had already. That's where that question about how often does a septic need to be addressed came from, and I've been making some comments along the way. So if you open up your chat, there should be a little icon, usually at the bottom of your screen. If you click on that and open that up, it should be set to go to everyone. So if you have questions, you can either send your questions to me specifically, Kristen, or you can post them to everyone, and then I'll share those with Phil if he doesn't see them. He's usually on a cell phone, so he tends to keep his screen on, but the chat off. And so I can post those questions for him and share those.
And I
and
could
answer them
now that
along
I'm
the way.
here, I can put the tripod down or whatever and be more hands-free and take a look at that. So I just wanted to show him your house, Kristen, and here
Feel
we are
free.
coming. We came up the back stairs, which backdoor friends, they come up the back stairs and at the front. But so we have this beautiful hardwood rafters, the ceiling, so big cathedral ceiling up there, and big beautiful well-appointed kitchen. And then if we come over here, you see the living area there with a big loft up top. Right now we've got stuff stored up there, but Kristen was using that as homeschooling area, kind of activity area up there, crafts and puzzles and things. And let me come here. I don't know. I forgot we were going to do a tour. So let me take a look. Oh yeah, the bed is made. Okay, good. So then this is the master suite here. And then has nice windows here to the front yard where We're doing some grass seeding and stuff out front there now. The guys were out tilling today, Kristen. And then Tree Dave, the gentleman, or Johnny Appleseed I was mentioning, he lives right across the road in that home. And Kristen's special feature here of her at her desk, so she can keep an eye on the kids when they're doing their homework. And then when they
Yell
come,
at them.
when they come bugging, hey, mom, 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 then she can just close the curtains like that and say, there you go. Oh, and then nice big shower in here. And the house has really nice airflow, you know, from the front porch. Like right now, if you can feel it, it's just blowing through here and it's very nice. And then Ian, her son's bedroom here. Then we go through like a Jack and Jill bathroom here. Let's see, turn that on. So two sinks, linen storage, and then bathtub, toilet in here. And then continue through here to the laundry area. And then the girls' bedroom, which we've converted to an office right now. Used to have the bunk beds and Barbie dolls. Now we've got a desk. No, Lisa's, you can see she's been watching us. Okay. I'll let her get back to work and monitor. Oh, she I caught her. Okay. I think I'm gonna actually go in the office here and finish. Can I go in here? Is it gonna reverberate? Let me see. Come in here. Okay, let me turn this around. So, Kristen, you're gonna help with Q&A?
I sure will. I don't see any questions posted yet.
Okay.
We did have a question earlier, and I don't know if everybody saw the answer, but it was about, you know, do we have an HOA? What are the dues? I addressed them in the chat, but just to summarize, and Phil can add commentary here, we're in the process of formalizing the HOA. We call it the Community Maintenance Fund. The budget has been vetted and approved by the community, and it comes to about $516 US per year per lot. If you kind of scale that against what we may be familiar with in terms of property taxes in the US, in Belize, it tends to not be more than, say, and I think I'm being generous here, $30 US per year. So you can imagine how much infrastructure that covers in the country of Belize. So those dues are really our own self-care, quote, tax to just make sure our roads, drainage, everything is functioning properly in Carmelita Gardens. And Phil, I'll hand it over to you if you have anything more to add there. You're on mute, by the way.
There we go. Thank you. Yeah, I think you've covered it. I mean, right now the community is taken charge of forming the community maintenance fund, as Kristen said, and that was the idea from the very beginning. Was that I've been in my whole career has been in design, building, real estate development, and so I've seen plenty of developers that go ahead and write all of the bylaws and everything for the HOA. And they do that to favor themselves and their business, because that's what it is. It's a business. And then when they leave, though, it just hangs like a dead fist over the community forever. And it doesn't grow into a little self-governing village or hamlet I was mentioning. And so the dream for Carmelita Gardens was always that, I'm going to be long gone one day, but I would love for Carmelita Gardens to continue and be a small municipality with a town square and a little Mayberry kind of thing. Well, the community needs to take ownership of that then. And so that's what's happening right now. And it's an exciting time, but anytime that you're working on governance, and I think it's like they say, like making sausage. And so there's a little bit of that going on right now, but it strengthens us, it brings us together. And And some people have different ideas, which is great. As they say that, where everybody thinks alike, nobody thinks at all. Well, we don't suffer that here at all. We've got a lot of good thinkers here. So yeah, so like Kristen said, it's a very affordable thing, and it's now implemented in terms of the raising the funds to take care of the roads and the gardens and the green spaces, because the government of Belize is not going to do that for us. The property taxes in Belize for Carmelita property is 10 Belize dollars, which is 5 US. And those municipal funds that typically take care of roads and infrastructure in municipalities, that $5 is going to get you nothing. It doesn't. So it doesn't. The government doesn't do anything for us. It's up to us to do it ourselves. And so to do that for $500 a year, I think is a very reasonable thing when you think that plus your $5 is your whole property tax that maintains your community. So that's kind of where we are right now. Yeah, Mike. Thank you. Kristen, are you still there?
I am, and I'm just looking to see if we have any other questions. We had a question about the square footage on my house, so I scurried and pulled up my old floor plans and found it. Thank you for the compliments on the house. All of the credit goes to Phil and Louise, who designed my home. I had vastly lower expectations for the size and the look. I had originally thought to go with the Belita plan, which is kind of like a galley kitchen with the master on one side and the guest on the other. And Phil came up with a plan within my budget that really just blew me away. So, design elements I had a hand in, but in terms of the home itself, that all that credit goes to Phil and Louise. A question here says, maybe this was addressed already, but what are the pros and cons of a house constructed in the addition on stilts or elevated versus a new ground foundation to the home? So Phil had talked a little bit about this in the beginning regarding, if your home is in the flood area of the community, which my home is, then you definitely want to be elevated so that you're not getting water in the home. When you're out of the floodplain, you have both options. You can elevate the home or have it on grade. Having a shaded parking area, for example, under my home is nice. Most folks who are on grade either have their vehicles parked out in the sun or wind up building a little parking structure so they're covered. And Phil, I'll hand it over to you to add any commentary there.
Yeah, Kristen, you really addressed it just the right way. Aside from the area that has the potential to flood, you could do either raised or on grade, and it really kind of becomes personal preference at that point. There is a cost difference. Doing a slab on grade and then tiling on that slab, that would be the least expensive construction. You can do just on grade with a wood floor. That's a little bit more expensive. And then if you go on the columns to have it raised up, that gets a little bit more expensive. If you're finishing it off like it's a 2-story, you can do a full 2-story house as well. And there's more cost associated with that. So as you take a look at what's right for you, and some people say, I don't want to deal with stairs, and other people are like, yeah, no, climbing stairs keeps me young. So it just is, again, starts to become a lifestyle and budget question, which we can help answer that for you if you don't already have that answer.
Thank you, Phil. Somebody had asked, will we be scheduling 2024 visits soon? The short answer is you can visit virtually any time you want. We just need to have preferably at least 2 days notice prior to your visit, and we can take you on Phil's, I think Phil mentioned earlier, bespoke tours, take you around the community, into homes that kind of fit the style or the budget that you're looking for. We don't have any discovery tours scheduled yet for the rest of this year. that's something Phil and Elisa and I would be discussing to see what might work. We just had a big one in February following the Live and Invest conference in Belize City. So that happened just in February. Phil, did you have any thoughts
Yeah,
on?
we're yeah, Kristen, actually, Elise and I were talking about that we were thinking June or July time frame. And of course, I'm thinking 4th of July, come and claim your independence here.
I like that. I might, well, I wouldn't be able to, I'll
Yeah.
be in. But I think June and July are a great time to come. Somebody had asked
Yeah.
about what the uh asked about the bug situation. So pretty home, but what's the mosquito and other bug life like? I grew up in Iowa and Minnesota, and I think the bug situation is worse in Iowa and Minnesota than anywhere I've been in Belize. I think the fact that we trim our community, keep the grasses a bit lower, and we don't have just prolific jungle around us really helps with that population. Most of the homes do have a screened-in patio, so you can enjoy watching a sunset or eating your dinner outdoors without some of those mosquitoes bothering you. But I find them not to be too obnoxious.
Yeah, we used to go and visit my grandparents in Minnesota every summer, and yeah, the Minnesota state bird is the mosquito, I think. But the Cayo District in Belize is kind of known, but Belizeans will say, "Oh, it's nice, there's no bugs in Cayo," but we're still in the tropics, so they are. But there's really not. Like Kristen is saying, yeah, I grew up in Michigan, and then moved to Florida, and I don't find it to be a bother. There's like at dusk in the rainy season, yeah, you're going to get some mosquitoes coming out and all of that, but that's when you duck into the screen porch for a little bit. But we always have a nice breeze here, which tends to keep those pests away. Uh, but we did actually last night. Elise and I went for a walk around the community, and there is an insect that is nice to have. And we have the fireflies in the meadow were awesome. So there are those insects.
Yeah, those are fun when you can catch them. Somebody had asked about which lots on the site map are for sale. So I just posted a link to and this is also in the email that Elisa had sent out initially, where for folks who have their speaker on, can you please mute your lines? We keep getting feedback. Thank you very much. On the site map link that we had sent out and I posted here, if you see a number on that lot, it is likely available. We have recently had signed contracts from a number of new owners. I think we've had 4 purchases just in the last few weeks. So there may just let me know if there, or info@carmelitagardens.com or Kristen@carmelitagardens.com if you have a specific lot that you'd like to see. Also, I do have some videos like walk around. They're not professional grade, but you'll get a little walk around of some of the lots that we have available. And we do have some aerial photos if you kind of want to see what the lot looks like. So you can email me and I'd be happy to send you, if we have those, and get anything that we have on specific lots over to you. I'm not seeing any
Yeah,
additional.
we'll be updating the map here, like you said, with the 4 sales. Really, Kristen, I think it's in the last 2 weeks, so
Yeah.
it's time to update the map anyway. So we'll do that, and then you and Elisa can get it out to everybody.
Great. I've just posted the 2 email addresses that you can use. Again, you can reach out to me personally. I try to respond within 24, 48 hours. info@carmelitagardens.com is a great place to inquire. We did have somebody indicate earlier that they're interested in doing an on-site tour. So info@carmelitagardens.com is a great way to just make all of us on the Carmelita Garden staff aware that we have a visitor who wants to come. I'm just going to look through and see if there's anything that I've missed here. Oh, Phil, would you like to talk about the pricing on the map? In the very near future, our pricing is not going to be accurate.
Correct. Yeah. So we have the map, which everybody should have or will receive. I will update it. So we have basically there's different categories. We have 6 types, if you will. There's 2 categories and then different types. So we have the green and the river, and the green is on the greenways or large lots. So we have green garden, which are the smallest lots. Those are 50 by 100 lots, and then green village, which are the 100 by 100, and then green estate, which are the half-acre lots. And the pricing is 39,000 for the green garden, 44 for green village, and 49 for green estate. And then we have river garden, which is over here on the peninsula. That's 59,000. River village here, which is 69,000, but we only have one of those actually available now. And then 79,000, which are the estate lots over here. So the pricing actually is getting ready to go up here at the end of the month. So you have until March 31st. The green village lots are going to 49,000, and the green estates are going to 59,000. I don't know what I was thinking years ago, and I never really deviated much from it. But you get a green garden lot for 39,000, and then twice the size lot with a green village for only $5,000 more, and then twice again for only another 5,000. So it's really about adjusting to the market prices and the true value of the properties. So if you're interested in one of those 2 lot types, the green village or the green estate, now is a good time to jump on that. So.
Thank you, Phil. We have a question about how far to the nearest hospital and doctors.
Yeah, so there's the San Ignacio Clinic, which is I'd say about 6 miles away. You go around. That's getting ready to get shorter now as they, talk about putting that bridge in. But right now it's about 6 miles. Spanish Lookout also has a good, really nice clinic there, the Shining Star Clinic, and that's about 7 miles away. And then the hospital, the La Loma Luz, which is a Seventh-day Adventist hospital in San Ignacio, is about 10 miles away. Belmopan, there's a larger medical center there, as well as a private hospital. St. Luke's is there. That is, what is that? I don't know exactly how many miles, but it's about a 45-minute drive. And then the major facilities are in Belize City, which is about a 2-hour drive there, but there are ambulance services as well. We found that the Spanish Lookout Mennonite operated clinic at Shining Star has done really amazing things for many of our residents. It's old school healthcare. I mean, they have good equipment, attentive staff, but it's that Hippocratic oath, the TLC they give you. People go in there for one condition, and while they're there, they're getting a head massage. And I've just heard that fortunately I haven't had any medical issues, but everybody I've talked to that has gone to the clinic has just been amazed. They've been very, very pleased at the kind of care that they've gotten there. I think, Kristen, you've had the same feedback from people.
Yeah, absolutely. I can give kind of 2 examples from both the Western medicine and the alternative care approach. So my son broke his arm falling off a horse, and he had to, be put under. They had to re-break the arm, set it, the cast, the x-rays, the whole bit. And we, of course, don't use any insurance down there. We have insurance with a really high deductible, but it cost us less than $1,000 for all the visits, the doctor, the cast, putting it on, taking it off. And I have no idea how much that would cost in the US, but it really wasn't much. And then my ex-husband, when he got COVID, went in for treatments at Shining Star, which has really nice alternative approaches. And he was in there for 3 full days getting IVs and all sorts of treatments. And I think his came out to less than 500 US. So Belize has some really great medical care. Dental, a lot of people will come down just to get dental because the cost of a crown, for example, is only about 300 US dollars. So you can get good quality medical care. And if it's out of the scope of their ability to treat something, they will let you know. So what a lot of people do is they'll go back to the US once or every year or two, get their appointments done for older folks who might be on Medicare, or Canadians that have their health care covered. They'll just make their trips back to the US and maybe get like a medical evacuation policy for any extreme event, and head back up to the States if they need anything drastic. But just for basic, regular care, things like the broken arm, I've found the cost to be really reasonable, and I've not heard of anybody having a poor experience getting treatments.
Yeah. Okay. How we doing? We got everybody's questions there? Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm just scrolling to make sure I haven't missed anything. I've got, I don't have a normal cursor, so I'm afraid I've blown past questions. If anybody has any last questions, feel free to pop them in the chat.
All right. So, yeah, if you've got more questions, then certainly we're available to answer those via email. And we prefer to answer those questions in person. So come down and take a visit, and we can show you around, introduce you to all of the great folks in the community. And a lot of times there will be events with potlucks or something's going on. Matt, our retired professor, he's always got that professor itch. He's got to give a lecture every once in a while, so you might catch one of his lectures on pirates or whatever moves him at the
drama
time.
and a pirate inspired theme to it. You're right. So I wish I had been down there for that. We did have a couple quick questions come in, Phil, while you were sharing that. Somebody had asked about, do most people moving down get residency? No, not always. Some folks just come down for part of the year, and in order to qualify for residency, you need to be in Belize 50 out of 52 consecutive weeks. And then after that, you can apply for residency, and it can take 9 to 12 months for them to process that application. Generally, you don't want to leave the country while your interviews with police and whatever else needs to be conducted in order to get the approvals. So you kind of just want to assume you're going to not be leaving the country for about a year and a half. There's other ways that people enter the country. There's a qualified retiree program. There's a lot of different options, and speaking with a consultant or somebody who's really understands the different options is a good recommendation. Anything to add on residency? Phil, we had one more question come in after that.
No, you covered it. That's right. There are people that will get their stamp. Like I said, they're here for 6 months. So every month, or you can get 3-month extension. It's 200 Belize dollars per month extension. So that's how some people stay here, is just get those extensions. And like you said, there's the QRP and then permanent residency, but that requires the 50 out of 52 weeks, which doesn't always work for everyone. And again, that's an individual decision whether or not you want the QRP, that has certain requirements and certain benefits, or you want to go for the permanent residency. But both options are available. And if you want some more information, again, send us an email and we can work out a phone call and get you some more information about that.
Yeah. Somebody had asked about the nearest town to get supplies. Phil had kind of touched on it, talking about the medical, but you have San Ignacio, 6-7 miles, turning left out of the community or heading west. And then if you head east, you're about the same distance to Spanish Lookout. Am I frozen, Phil? I want to make sure I'm not on.
No, you're good.
Okay. And then, those two locales are going to provide pretty much most, if not all, of your regular necessities. I mean, Spanish Lookout is where we get metal roofing for the houses. There's a number of lumber yards. So it's like the industrial capital of Belize is only 7 miles away, which is fantastic for, building and supplies at Carmelita Gardens. So those are the two. Lots of good options for groceries and
And
Belize City.
Christian,
Yeah.
just for like daily, sundries, the Hume's store just keeps
Yes.
growing, has more and more options right here in
Yeah.
Santa Familia. So, like a mile away, there's a good kind of, I would call it a general store. They've got things from hardware, supplies to food and other, art supplies, things like that. So it's a good general store for, like I said, those little sundries that may come up day to day.
2 years ago when I moved, when I purchased property in Carmelita Gardens, Humes was one level. And, we build, 7 or 8 houses at Carmelita Gardens. Now we have I think 7-ish under construction and 20 in the
Uh,
pipeline. Hume's actually added a second level to their store. So now there's 2 levels, and you can even get some furniture at the Hume's market now. So I think
uh,
Carmelita Gardens might be helping Hume's out a little bit. So it's 1 mile away, and they're lovely people, and they tend to have a good mix of stuff.
yeah.
Jay had asked, what are some of the things that you might see during a visit? I'm assuming they're asking about a visit to Carmelita. When we have a bespoke tour and really just one-on-one with folks, we'll take you around kind of like Phil did in this virtual tour, stop at different areas if you really have a keen interest in, say, having a river lot, or you really like trees. We spend a lot of time taking you around to the different areas and then organizing, which is why a couple days notice is good. Taking folks through some of our residents' homes. They generally want to make sure their home is in, viewable condition. So we can walk you through and just give you an idea of what we can do. On our discovery tours, when we have a formal event over 4 days, 3 nights. We'll also show you the surrounding areas. We'll take you into Spanish Lookout. We'll take you to San Ignacio. We'll take you through the open air market so you can get a sense of, the produce and different things that you can purchase at the market. And we'll also take you on a little bit of sightseeing. Usually we stop at Cajalpech Mayan ruins. We might go out to the botanical gardens or the Raptor Center. So we add in a few additional things so you really can get a feel for the area in which you'd be living and having your day-to-day life. Anything I'm missing there, Phil?
No, it depends on how long somebody's visiting. If you're here just, on your own and you're spending some extra days, the chances are, one of the people in the community is going to try to talk you into going kayaking or canoeing with them. So there's that. Pickleball, Wednesday and Saturday mornings. Dave will be there and take you on a tree tour and try to beat you in pickleball. There's more and more. There are things happening. People going on, bike rides, things like that. So yeah, again, it depends on how long you have to spend. We can help, adjust a tour for you. And we have good relationship with different tour guides. So if you wanted to see more of the Cayo area while you're here, we can arrange that for you as well.
Question came in, do you just pay the monthly fee while you're there? This was kind of on the heels of that conversation about residency. Yes, as Phil mentioned, when you are on the tourist visa, you have to go into immigration and every 30 days pay your US $100 to get it updated. And oftentimes, if you ask, they'll give you 3 months. So you only have to, if you're there for the full year, you're only going back 4 times. The first 30 days when you touch down in Belize are included. So you have 30 days before you have to start getting those stamps. There was a question about transporting furniture, et cetera, down to Belize or buying in Belize. I have done both. I transported a lot of goods down. purchasing a container or putting things on a container and working with an international mover in my experience, it was pretty expensive. So you really want to be sure that what you're bringing down is something you really need. Often it can be difficult to get anything with, a lot of wood in it because Belize has a lot of wood. So you might have some challenges if you bring down a lot of wood. You can get furniture either custom made, or there are furniture supply stores in Belize. They have really nice furnishings at a place called Hummingbird Furnishings in Belmopan. You can go into Belize City where you can get Ashley furniture. There's the teak farmer right around the corner who did my teak floors. He makes beds and cabinets and dresser drawers, and also you can buy mattresses. So anything you need is available in Belize. And if you have questions about specifics, feel free to just chat with me about it. I can give you more details on that. Is internet service in Belize pretty good? I don't know, Phil. I think I've cut out more than you, and I'm currently in the US.
Yeah, I think that Belize is really regarded as having really good internet, and I've found the same thing, Kristen, when I travel. I often, I miss my internet. I wish it was as good in some of the places I travel in. So generally speaking, Belize has good internet. They do have fiber optic network now that is not too far from us. It's hopefully coming our way soon. But right now we have, it's a microwave-based internet, but good speeds, good reliability. There are 3 different providers that we have around us now. One from Spanish Lookout, one in San Ignacio, and then the other one is actually set up a tower in Santa Familia. So yeah, we have choices, good competition, and the good service.
We just had a question about rental, if they wanted to stay for a month or two. I suggested just, reach out to me specifically. Currently, Carmelita Gardens does not have, let me back up a moment. In the past, we have had a third-party on-site property manager who would manage the rental properties at Carmelita Gardens. And these were the folks that Phil had mentioned earlier had to move back to Colorado. So there's no longer a valid Belize Tourism Board license for rental properties at Carmelita Gardens. Whether or not we have that down the road is a question. We've definitely had a lot of people who have interest. And so we are, looking into that and seeing what the options are. If you email me, I can give you, your phone number. I can give you a call and we can chat about some options on where you might be able to stay or how you might be able to spend some quality time at Carmelita Gardens if you have an independent visit down. So just know that there are options and that we can really give you an experience at Carmelita Gardens when you come down to Belize. Phil, do you have anything to add on that?
No, you covered it. Yeah, we're in transition now with the property management, trying to figure out what the next step is. And we have a lot going on right now with the lot sales and construction, as Kristen pointed out, the number of homes we have going now and all that, which really consumes my time and a lot of staff time. And so to now take over the property management business, which, like Kristen said, we had on site, but kind of left in the lurch, and we're not there yet. But we will let everybody know. The world will know once we are back up and running.
Well, one thing that I don't even know if I shared this with you, Phil, but I've been having a conversation with a couple that is very interested in Carmelita. They're doing a lot of research. They've actually already contacted a lawyer in Belize to see about setting up a property management business so that they can move to Carmelita and operate the property management business. So we've had a lot of exchanges, me and this particular people, about, what does it really take to run a property management business in Belize? I haven't done it, but I know a lot about, what folks go through and whether or not that would be a good opportunity. And some people ask, hey, how can I get down there and start working? Well, I know a number of people that have moved to Belize, open up a business in Belize, and then they are essentially issuing their own work visa to work in Belize. And then they don't have to go in for the monthly stamps. And the benefit to Belize is oftentimes these folks employ Belizeans to support the business. And so Belize tends to be on board with that kind of practice because it gives more Belizean jobs.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there are a lot of opportunities to have your own small business. Belize is not an economy where you're going to, build a, multi-million dollar multinational company. But if you're looking for, a nice, simple lifestyle and something that might be a supplement to your income if you're retired or you work online or something like that, and you wanted to move to Carmelita Gardens and have your own business there, we've got this critical mass now and it's growing. We have more and more and people coming, and then even from outside the community, there are a lot of Belizeans and expats that if there was a nice business that provided, could be a coffee shop, could be a boutique store. I mean, there's just a lot of different things that that people would be attracted to. So contact us. Now's the time where we're going to start looking at that town square and the businesses, kind of the size of the business. Again, it would kind of grow organically as the community grows, as the access to Carmelita Gardens continues to get better. Then the businesses will grow with it.
I would like to personally have a nurse or a doctor, a dentist, and a hairstylist all on site.
Oh,
And then
there you go. All right,
I wouldn't have to leave much at all. But
uh-huh.
I can be a bit of a diva. So
Yeah.
well, I haven't seen any additional questions come in following that last one about spending some time at Carmelita Gardens. Let me just take a quick look, make sure I didn't miss anything. Internet. I think we got everything covered. So for folks who have more questions, I've posted it a few times in the chat. You can email info@carmelitagardens.com. You can email me, Kristen, at carmelitagardens.com. And just let me know what your questions are. I can set up a Zoom call or a phone call. Yes, thank you all for attending. And Phil, I'll let you make any closing remarks.
Okay, well, thank you, Kristen, and thank you everybody for attending. Yes, the next step is the discovery tour. We'll let you know when we have that. But as Kristen said, if you want to just come down on your own anytime, just give us a little heads up, and then please come on down. We'd love to see you. And any questions that you have, just email us, and we'll get right back to you. So y'all have a great weekend, and we look forward to seeing you soon.